The first episode of Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen 2026, Netflix, is titled, Never Get on One Knee, and sets up the whole series' dread, family cult vibes, and the central question, are you sure he's the one? Below is a detailed, near scene-by-scene breakdown and analysis of episode 1. The episode starts with a brutal flash forward to Rachel's wedding day, then rewinds to 5 days before the ceremony as she and Nikki drive upstate to his family's property. The drive is a series of escalating omens and weird encounters that slowly convince Rachel that something is deeply wrong with Nikki's family. The local area is under some kind of supernatural thumb, and she may not actually be sure about Nikki. Opening wedding day sequence. The episode opens with Rachel in her wedding dress walking down the aisle, hearing her own heartbeat and the muffled music. The camera lingers on her face behind the veil, showing her anxiety and the weight of expectation. As she reaches Nikki, they share a smile, then the music turns dark and the scene cuts to a horrific image. A blood-soaked corridor and a large, monstrous creature stalking through it. Analysis. This flash forward is pure horror foreshadowing. It tells the audience that the something very bad of the title is not just emotional, it's visceral and bloody. The wedding is the ritual apex of whatever curse or system is in place. Rewind. The car ride to the Cunninghams. The story rewinds 5 days to Rachel and Nikki driving toward his parents' house in upstate New York. Rachel is ennuyed, tired, and drowsy at the wheel. They narrowly avoid a collision with a school bus, jolting her awake. Nikki lightens the mood by talking about a local frozen custard stand called Coldy's and its owner, Larry Poole, who allegedly murdered 3 women. Analysis. The near accident is the first omen. The universe is already trying to warn them something is off track. Mentioning a local murderer signals that this town has a dark underside Nikki treats as a quirky road trip anecdote, while Rachel is genuinely unsettled. The rest stop baby and the missing car. At a desolate rest stop, Rachel and Nikki discover an abandoned car with a baby in the back seat. They debate what to do. Nikki stays with the baby while Rachel goes to find help. Rachel walks into a nearby empty bar, where only a bartender named Benjamin is present. The vibe is deeply Lynchian. The place is nearly deserted, the lighting is dingy, and the bartender watches her intently. Scene at the bar. Rachel uses the bathroom, the door creaks, and she tightens her keys between her fingers, expecting an attack. Instead of a person, she finds a brutally killed pregnant animal in one of the toilets, an early sign that this place is steeped in violence and ritual-adjacent gore. After leaving the bathroom, the bartender confronts her, asking in a flat tone, "You sure he's the one?" Rachel reacts defensively, and when she sees the question written on her keychain, a charm she's been carrying, she panics and flees. Analysis. The talking key and the bartender's question are the first explicit supernatural hints. Something or someone is watching Rachel's doubt about Nikki. The murdered animal in the toilet is a metaphor for violated fertility and unfinished life, foreshadowing the later themes of forced marriage and broken vows. The just married truck and the vanishing car. As Rachel runs out of the bar, she sees a truck with just married scrawled on the back, possibly in blood, and an older man watching her from outside. When she returns to the rest stop, Nikki's car is gone, only to be revealed moments later. The baby's parents have come back, taken the child, and attacked Nikki because they thought he was stealing it. Nikki is bleeding, and the father claims this was a misunderstanding. The story is rushed and implausible, and Rachel calls it psychotic. Analysis. The vanishing car and the shaky explanation feel intentionally unreal, like the world is warping around Rachel's choices. The parents' violent reaction mirrors how the later curse will punish anyone who breaks the rules of proper marriage and commitment. Rachel's instinct to leave without calling the police hints at her dissociation and her desire to avoid entanglement, something the curse will punish. Arrival at the Cunningham family home. Rachel and Nikki arrive at a sprawling, isolated compound in the woods, the Cunninghams' estate. They meet Nikki's mother, Victoria Cunningham, Jennifer Jason Lee, who is cold, intense, and immediately fixates on Rachel as the next Mrs. Cunningham. Nikki's sister, Portia Gus Burney, and their brother, Jules Jeff Walbish, are also introduced. Their energy ranges from nervy to sullen. Analysis. The compound's isolation and the family's insular vibe signal that this is a closed system with its own rules, similar to a cult or inherited religion. Victoria's possessive gaze at Rachel marks her as the priestess matriarch of the curse system, which will later be shown to revolve around marriage, blood, and doubt. Portia's sorry man story. Inside the house, Portia cloaks Rachel in a folk horror tale about the sorry man. She explains that when Jules was a child, he wandered into the woods and heard a woman screaming. He saw a disfigured man who cuts a woman open and turns her inside out, sobbing, "I'm sorry," because he thinks his dead wife is trapped inside other women. Portia claims the sorry man specifically targets brides. Analysis. The sorry man serves three purposes. A literal boogeyman that will haunt Rachel's dreams. A metaphor for men who destroy women in the name of fixing or saving them. A narrative device that externalizes Rachel's fear that Nikki might be complicit in a system that will devour her. Rachel's doubts and the "I have to do the thing" scene. After hearing the story, Rachel quietly tells Nikki that his family is insane. She feels full of dread, and something bad is going to happen. Nikki tries to calm her, but she insists she has to do the thing, and he carries her into a small box or closet-like space. Inside, there's heavy breathing and muffled sounds, cut later to them having sex, implying the box is a kink or ritual that helps her get aroused. Analysis. Framing it as "I have to do the thing" positions Rachel's sexuality as inextricably tied to ritual and compulsion rather than spontaneity, which mirrors how the curse will later bind sex to marriage and blood. The claustrophobic box can also be read as a prefigurement of the altar, a small, confined space where she must surrender control. Rachel's nosebleed in the midnight forest walk. After sex, Rachel wakes with a nosebleed, a small but visible sign of physical strain. She goes for a nighttime walk in the woods near the cabin, where she encounters the reclusive Victoria alone. Victoria strokes Rachel's face, calling her the next Mrs. Cunningham, then is abruptly escorted away by her husband, who says, "We won't be seeing much of each other anymore." Analysis. The nosebleed is a recurring motif. The curse responds to blood, doubt, and menstrual adjacent imagery. Rachel's body is already signaling that she's in the system. Victoria's intimate yet chilling touch and the line about not seeing much of each other foreshadow that Rachel will soon replace her in the ritual hierarchy. Ending of Episode 1, Dread solidified. The episode closes with Rachel more unsettled than ever, strung between the family's unsettling stories, the roadside horror show, and her own growing doubts about Nikki. The final impression is that every omen so far has been a variation on the same question: are you sure he's the one? Thematic takeaway. Episode 1 establishes the curse is not just about marriage, but about belief in marriage. Uncertainty is the forbidden sin. Rachel's journey is framed as a sliding scale of doubt, from mild pre-wedding jitters to full horror as she realizes she's stepping into a world where people literally die when oaths are broken. That wraps up our deep dive into Episode 1. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss our analysis of where this story is headed next. I'll see you right back here for the Episode 2 breakdown very soon.